this morning with my mind, staying on Jesus. I woke up this morning with my mind.
Hello everyone, Joey Sparks here. Here's your reminder, God's mercies are new once again this morning. So what about those chapters, Romans 9, 10, and 11? We referenced yesterday morning that they are challenging, they will challenge us. One thing that's especially helpful right now as we read them and then reread them is to see that Paul, by the time he gets to the end of chapter 11, is going to unlock for us some very important principles that we may have been wrestling with leading up to it. So that's why it's so important to read until the end before we fully kind of make some decisions about what he's saying. What he's going to say at the end of chapter 11 harmonizes with where he ended the first section of the book. So chapter 1, once you get past the introduction, he talks about how the Gentiles are lost without Christ and how they've rejected God, how the Jews then, beginning chapter 2, are lost without Christ. That goes into chapter 3. And you remember the words of chapter 3, verse 22, there is no distinction. Jew and Gentile are both what? Verse 23, all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. But you know what verse 24 is? Of Romans chapter 3, all are justified by the gift of God's grace. So just as all are lost, Jew and Gentile both are lost outside of Christ, just the same, so too all are saved in Christ through God's gift of grace and our response through faith, by faith. That's the point he's making in Romans chapters 9, 10, and 11. Now he has to dive into some deep things to get there. Okay, so don't overlook and fast forward to the deep things. But especially by the time you get to chapter 11 with this expanded analogy about the tree, the olive tree, and it being grafted in, he's making the point that although the Jews rejected, whoever of those Jews will come back, they can be regrafted in. And although the Gentiles were not a part of the original tree, they are grafted in. They are now made a part of the people of God just as much as the Jews were before Christ. That's the point he's making. It's that all can be saved just as much as all were lost before Christ. So that's what he's talking about, verse 22, for instance. Note then the kindness and the severity of God. Severity toward those who have fallen. The kindness to you, God's kindness to you, provided you continue in his kindness. Otherwise, you too will be cut off. Even they, if they do not continue in their unbelief, will be grafted in, for God has the power to graft them in again. All who are alive, among all who are alive, no one is beyond God's power to save. But likewise, among all who are alive and are saved, all can decide to fall away from God, just as the Jews did before. So it's up upon us to continue to seek the kindness of God and to remain steadfast to him. And although there are things that challenge us, it's a wonderful thing that God is so much greater than we are. And we see that in this discussion. That's how he's going to close verse 33, or near the close of the chapter, verse 33. Oh, the depth of the riches and wisdom and knowledge of God. How unsearchable are his judgments, how inscrutable are his ways. Even the ways and the judgments that we wrestle with are perfect and just and right. And we have that promise, we have that certainty. We do thank you so much for your time this morning. For every morning, it's our prayer that God's timeless word will be your meditation all day today.
I woke up this morning with my mind, staying on Jesus.